Welcome to the Midweek Wrap on Yarra Ranges Life TV, the only hyper-local news program for the Yarra Valley and the Ranges. And this week it's a Chockers episode as always, commemorating the 80th anniversary of the Kyeema air disaster on Mount Dandenong. But now it's time for the latest local news headlines presented by Jim Brown.
Hi, I'm Jim Brown. Welcome to the Midweek Wrap, brought to you again from the glorious grounds of the Killara Estate Winery in Seville East. And doesn't the background show what a great part of Australia we live in? On the Mount Evelyn Mail's front page, the Yarra Ranges Council's ambitious Rivers and Ridges project may be closer, with KCMP Tony Smith announcing the project had made the federal government's shortlist. If successful, the project could attract initial funding of $10 million. Tony Smith is quoted as saying the Yarra Ranges is Victoria's #1 tourist destination, and the federal government wants to bring as many people here as possible to see what this region has to offer. The Yarra Ranges Council is about to submit a business plan for a $10 million federal grant for stage 1 of the project, which will include the Warburton Mountain Bikes destination, improvements to the Warburton Recreation Precinct, and the Yarra Valley Trail Ridge Walk. According to the council, the completed project could attract 750,000 visitors, $80 million for the local economy, and generate more than 500 jobs. In the Mountain Views Mail, another tribute to a 100-year-old local resident, Frank Seacombe, who has led a long and eventful life. As an architect, Frank designed one of Melbourne's first skyscrapers, the State Bank Centre on the corner of Collins and Elizabeth Streets. Before that, as he was about to qualify as an architect, Frank went off to war to fight the Japanese in New Guinea as an engineer. He returned to Melbourne and architecture after the war and made his mark in designing buildings for Monash and Melbourne universities. Congratulations. In the Ferntree Gully Belgrave Mail, deserved recognition for a 55-year-old Martin Stewart, who has just been named Blind Australian of the Year for his commitment to help other visually challenged Australians. And he has achieved this with an amazing story of survival. In 2002, Martin, then a blind advocate, thought he was walking through an open carriage door to alight at Richmond, but instead fell between carriages. To the horror of onlookers, the train driver did not hear cries for help and took off, dragging Martin 200 metres along the track. As a result, he lost an arm, a leg, and part of an ear. Despite these horrific injuries, Martin recovered and rededicated himself to helping blind people everywhere. Congratulations to this inspiring man who lives in Upwey. And in the Upper Yarra Mail, the official opening of the Wython River Hydro Power Station, which harnesses the energy of the swift-flowing Wython River at Warburton Golf Course to generate electricity. This project started in 2009 and its completion was made possible by the cooperation and fundraising of many organisations. There was a hydro generator on the same creek back in 1918 to power the town streetlights, but the technology in those days wasn't up to it, and so it closed. The new project generates up to 100 kilowatts of renewable power, reduces carbon emissions by 700 tonnes each year, and being underground is completely silent. It's a great example of a community being ahead of politicians when it comes to achieving renewable energy for the community. That's all for this week. I'm Jim Brown. Thanks for watching. Stand by now for the weather.
Thanks, Jim, for reading the latest local news headlines for us. And what have Yarra Ranges Life TV been up to? Well, on last Wednesday, it was, of course, the return of Wandin Rotary's classic custom car and bike show at the Wandin East Recreation Reserve. We were there to share some of the fun vibe. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from that live broadcast. Hey Mark, thanks for joining us live.
Wow, it's great to have you back.
Hey, we love coming to this event and checking out some of these amazing cars, of course, that the car enthusiasts from all over the Yarra Valley and the Ranges have brought down to the Wandin East Recreation Reserve to support you guys in your efforts to raise some awesome funds for... Ta-da!
For the kids.
Yes, the kids at the Royal Children's Hospital. And it's all part of the Good Friday appeal, of course. Last year, how much did you guys raise?
21,000 we gave the Children's Hospital, and we also spent money on children in the Yarra Valley. We helped a little boy from Monbog. He got legs.
Fantastic.
He got some blades, so he can run around and play some sports. So all fantastic, all really good.
Absolutely, and this is the good part of the good work that the Rotary Club, of course, do. And Rotary One, you guys are right at the forefront when it comes to raising funds for not just the Royal Children's Hospital Good Friday appeal, but as you said, a lot of the funds raised from the car show here in Wandin goes to the local community.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very important, and I think that's why we've got a fantastic following. And what a turnout tonight! This is awesome.
Officially, the gates don't open until 6, but check it out, Mitch. We've got almost the first oval is already chockers with a variety of fantastic classic cars for you guys to come on down and enjoy. And it's a family affair here at the Wandin East Recreation Reserve. And bring your pets down as well. There's lots of dogs down here as well.
Yeah.
And there's jumping castles, heaps of food.
Yep.
We've got the Wandin CFA, of course, behind us. They're raising money with their fantastic sausage sizzle and barbecue.
Yep.
They're raising money for our drought-stricken farmers, so go and give those guys a top out as well.
They do a very good job.
But that's just so fitting because a lot of the cars here are classics from that era and that generation. So come on down, enjoy the entertainment, grab some food, enjoy the cars, and of course support the work that Rotary Club of Wandin are doing.
Absolutely.
And Thursday, the 25th of October, last Thursday, marked the 80th anniversary of one of Australia's worst airtime disasters at that time, back in 1938. It was one of the world's worst airtime disasters, of course, the crash of the Kyeema DC-2 in the western face of Mount Dandenong. We were there on Saturday for a very special commemoration ceremony. Here's some highlights from that live broadcast.
On Tuesday, the 25th of October, 1938, Australia's worst pre-war aviation disaster occurred at this place, an accident that still ranks as the 6th worst in Australian commercial aviation history. The airliner, a Douglas DC-2 operated by Australian National Airways, was named Kyeema, Aboriginal for New Dawn. Introduced in 1934, the DC-2 represented the last word in luxury air travel. The industry was still in its infancy in the late 1930s, prior to the huge technological advances brought about by World War II. The airliner was readied for its return to Melbourne, and the 14 passengers filed out of the building and crossed the tarmac. They climbed the steps into Kyeema's cabin, where they were welcomed by hostess Elva Jones. The passengers included a member of Federal Parliament, Charles Hawker, a group of South Australian wine industry executives, prominent legal professionals, and a honeymooning couple. In the cockpit were the experienced and respected Captain Alfred Mick Webb, and alongside him was First Officer Alan Steed. 2 hours later, Kyeema was spotted just north of the township of Daylesford by local fuel merchant Arthur Hender, droning its way towards Melbourne through the fleecy cloud, steady as a rock. At Melbourne's Essendon Aerodrome, low cloud was making aviation difficult and air traffic was brisk. At about the expected time, radio operator Bill Lauder-Cridge exchanged several routine radio transmissions with the crew of Kyeema. They had no apparent problems and mentioned that they had passed over the township of Daylesford, spotted through a break in the clouds. The expected time of arrival at Essendon Aerodrome came and went, and the concerned radio operator made further calls to Kyeema, all of which were met with a deathly silence. Up on top of Mount Dandenong, Bob Logan and Tom Murphy were clearing timber in thick fog near Ridge Road. At about 1:45 p.m, they were alerted by the sound of an approaching aeroplane, seemingly headed in their direction. The sound became louder and louder until finally the horrifying noise of screeching metal was heard, followed by an enormous explosion which caused the ground to shake under their feet. The men quickly ran the short distance to the crash site and were shocked at what they saw. The remains of Kyeema were burning fiercely, with flames leaping up into the trees and thick black smoke billowing out. Wings, engines and other pieces of the airliner were strewn all over the steep hillside. Several bodies had been thrown clear, but it was immediately obvious there would be no survivors.
Yeah, very moving tribute and commemoration up there on Mount Dandenong for the Kyeema. And what else did we get up to? Well, on Sunday we finished off our live crosses here in Kilsyth at the Kilsyth Festival. We had a ball down here, of course, and to share some of the fun, here's some highlights from that live cross. And we're going to find out more about this fantastic event and what's happening down here with Turtle Man and Mel.
That's a fine line, isn't it?
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Yeah, thanks for joining us live on Yarra Rangers Life TV.
Yeah.
Mel, you're the MC for the event.
I'm the MC today. It's rather exciting, I must say.
Yeah, how cool is this? And you've got some amazing acts and performers that are happening on the main stage all day today.
Let me look down here. We've got the Chin community who are on at the moment. I think you've just come from there. But we've got Coffee Kumpe and
the drummer, Kyle, yes.
Yeah, the West African drumming.
So they've got West African drumming. That's happening at 12:30. If you know Coffee Kumpe,
yeah, he's
phenomenal. He's out in the valley in the ranges all the time.
And a guy called Mal Webb, who's doing beatboxing and all sorts of songwriting weird stuff.
Yeah,
that's me.
That's this guy.
Some guy. Just like a third-person moment. But and we have Darren over here, the Ninja Turtle.
Ninja Turtle. Do you talk, Darren?
Yes, I do.
Okay, he's talking Ninja Turtle. So the kids can come down and say hi to Darren.
Kids can come and say hi and have a photo taken and high fives.
And of course, why the turtle? Because the Kilsyth Festival used to be known as a Chaladina Festival, which is a really tricky way of saying turtle. Isn't that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, that's the scientific speak. That
Oh,
one.
really?
So we've got some more drumming going on. There's a talent show happening.
Talent show, apparently. Well, I think they've changed that around a bit. Talent showcase, they're calling it. It's not actually a what do you call it, a competition.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll find out more about it later, which is an exciting surprise.
Yes, and lots of live music with him and her. They're on at 2:10.
Yep.
Street Dance Studio. They're going to be dancing for us.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah.
We've got a raffle. So there's get your tickets in, or buy tickets, whatever you call that, with raffles.
Yep, all going to a good cause.
Yeah. And I just over there, I met a woman called Jean Bridge,
Yes.
who is the daughter of Elizabeth Bridge, after whom this reserve is named. And she's 95.
Yes.
Yeah,
how,
which is
how
pretty
special is that?
impressive.
She just had her 95th birthday just last week, Jean Bridge. So happy birthday to Jean, the granddaughter of Elizabeth Bridge, who the reserve here on Durham Road is, of course, named after.
Exciting, really.
Yeah, and here at the reserve, would you believe, they have turtles. There's an eastern long-necked turtle, I believe. And
Apart from that one.
apart from Darren, the big turtle.
Slightly shorter.
And of course, that's why it used to be the Kilsyth Chaladina Festival, or the Turtle Festival. But now it's just the Kilsyth Festival in general. And it's huge. There's 38 stalls. We're going to go for a bit of a wander. Mel,
Yeah.
love your work. Thanks very much for sharing a bit
Good
about
luck
the
out
festival.
there.
And that's the end of another midweek wrap on Yarra Rangers Life TV. Of course, thank you to you guys for tuning in, for watching. Yes, we've got over 4,600 followers on Facebook now, which is very humbling. Over 460 videos on Facebook as well, so be sure to click that blue watch video button. That'll take you to the playlist where all the magic happens. Of course, big thanks to Jim Brown for reading the latest news for us. Of course, thanks to Danny Field for putting the midweek wrap together. Mitchell Hatten, cameraman extraordinaire that does all of our live broadcasts, of course. I'm Pat Boucher. Of course, as always, we're living, we're loving, and we're sharing life in the Yarra Valley and the Ranges and beyond, only on Yarra Rangers Life TV. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.